statement.
Action. All right, here we are again for another edition of The Insanity of the Socialist Democratic Party. And I chose a different setting this time. This is another room. We have so many photos all over the place. And we got, let's see, the one right on top of my head, if I can get out of the way, is when we got married on the beach 23 years ago tomorrow. So happy birthday to my wife and me. Sweet. Upper right is our crazy dogs pointing at each other. I don't know why. And then to my right, just above my ears, my oldest boy is in the army right now. Some other photos, us riding horses. I don't know. There's an old one on my left we took when the boys were little babies. That's pretty cool. All right, well, this shirt was on the back of this chair, so I thought, what the heck, I'll show it. So we've got, of course, USA, pretty awesome. Statue of Liberty, pretty cool shirt. But then on the back, dun 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 dun. Enough of that. Okay, today I wanted to go over a couple of terms that are important to my subject. Now, one of them is the good old word of snowflake. And I call a lot of socialist snowflakes for a very good reason. And this is why I want to go over this. And a snowflake is a term for a person implying that they have an inflated sense of uniqueness, an unwarranted sense of entitlement, or are overly emotional, easily offended, and unable to deal with opposing opinions. That fits into a T. I don't mind other opinions when I'm debating people or whatever, but what I don't like is an extreme amount of government control, and that's where they lie. And if you guys go back to one of my other videos when I was talking about the political spectrum of where everybody sits, communists, socialists, liberals, and Republicans and everything else, on that scale of 0 to 10, with the 0 being, if for those of you that haven't seen the video, 0 is the most government control and no freedom, and then you kind of works your way up from the left, comes up to the center where you've kind of got a balance between government control and good and decent freedom, and then goes way over to the right where you've got solid freedom and no government. And so it's a good one to watch. I think it was my second or third video that I made. It's important for you to know exactly where everybody rides. So I don't mind riding up into the middle area. I'm a conservative, basically, or a Republican. And so I don't mind riding between 5 and 8. But subjects that are beyond that, I'm like, no, way down low. I don't believe in communism and socialism and stuff. So I wanted to get that one out. And also another thing that they just love to do, or be, is this Nitu movement. I don't know if you guys heard of this before. So I was going to read it out so you guys kind of get an idea of it if you don't know. It is a practice that was started out on the West Coast, possibly as part of a comedy skit, accusing someone who you don't like or possibly hurt your feelings of harassing you or otherwise hurting your witto feelings. That's actually what it says. In Snowflake land, your feelings are paramount. If you accuse someone of hurting your witto feelings, that person loses their First Amendment rights and will be presented by the Snowflake media, fake news, propaganda machines, as guilty, and a public shaming among snowflakes will ensue, despite no real evidence of any wrongdoing. Yeah, that just keeps on going with the snowflakes. That keeps going with, remember the Cavanaugh hearing when they had zero proof. She had zero proof, but yet he was convicted by society. And I've talked about this plenty of times before. They used to do this back in the Dark Ages. We don't do that now. We have law and order. So you can't just stereotype the guy. You got to have some proof. I mean, yeah, I can, have feelings for, of course, for, a woman that was raped or something like that, but you got to have some sort of proof. You can't just, he said, she said, and then the guy is the guilty party. So, yeah, let's see. And then I was going to do another one here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. I think it was last video I did, I was wondering what was up with all the women on the Democratic side dressed in white, and that crazy lady Alexandria Cortez was in the lead in front of them all. A crazy socialist. And I did a little bit of research, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but, it's kind of crazy. So I'm just gonna put it up by the screen here and see if you guys can see it, and see what you think. So that kind of concerns me. Wow. So let's move on. Next, I was going to talk about another crazy thing that they are doing right now, and Wall Street Journal wrote a great piece on it. But it said, right at the very top, it said, "Who's afraid of socialism?" Me and millions of other people in this country. Even some Democrats are. And it read, "This idea, endorsed by 40 Democrats and several Democrat candidates, who require that the U.S. be carbon neutral within 10 years." Yeah, the world's going to end in 10 years anyway due to global warming, so why do you care? To assist in this 10-year transformation of society. Sounds like a Hitler thing. The Green New Deal, this is the socialist concept that Cortez was really showing off the other day, would provide all members of our society across all regions and all communities the opportunity, training, and education to be a full and equal participant in this transition. So you're going to pay for all their college. I'm going to get to that here in just a minute. And classes and whatever. Including through a job guarantee program to assure a living wage job to every person who wants it. Yeah, $5 an hour and, you guys get to keep all the money. No, thank you. I did a little bit of studying on how much it would cost to provide this service of free college and free schools, free college and free healthcare. That's what I meant to say, sorry. If you combine both of those together, our current budget is about $4 trillion a year, which seems like an insane amount of money, but that's what they spend. This would double that. Talk about raising our debt to an incredible amount. Eventually, our society would fall apart. That's just stupid. But it gets worse, so hang on. I'm not done yet. Let's see. There is some divide in this. Some Democrats aren't actually for this, which could kind of hurt them coming up in 2020. It may split them again, like Bernie did with Hillary. So we'll see how that goes. That could split them again. I think it's a bad idea to be doing this for them. It's a failed system. Yes, it is. Look no further than Venezuela. Look no further than the old Soviet Union. Their society collapsed upon itself because of socialism. There's a couple of countries, I think, in the Eastern Bloc. And then you've got there's one up by Sweden or Norway or something that, I can't remember which one when I'm debating people. Sometimes they like to throw it in my face. And I know it's a small population. And so what I do basically is I tell them that look at this population difference between the United States of America and a little country that has no military, really. To take care of that many people is a massive difference in cost, in which it wouldn't work. There's way too many people. There's just no way. You can't do it, and we got to play cops throughout the entire planet, and so we got to keep our military going to prevent the spread of socialism and communism. So, another part of this Green New Deal, you're going to have to get rid of a whole lot of crap because they want to go from 10% green to 100%. Now, first of all, when it comes to the electrical grid right now, so it's about 10% green, and the rest of it is coal and gas. I work in a coal-fired power plant, and I'll probably do a video on that because there's a lot of misconception about coal-fired power plants, how dirty they are and everything, and they're extremely clean. A couple of old semis rolling down the road make more pollution than we do, and we have a tremendously large complex that makes a lot of electricity. And so I may do one on that sooner or later. But this would take hundreds of thousands of windmills spreading half the continent and out over the oceans to do with wind and then solar. We have a little farm next to our place it takes up several square miles, and it's only 158 megawatts. And we take up a little half-mile plot of land, and we make 1,300 megawatts. So the size difference is humongous. There's one up in northern Colorado, northeast Colorado. It takes up like 30, 40, 50 miles or something. It's huge. I drove through it. And that one makes about 1,000 megawatts, maybe a little bit more. So it takes up a tremendously much large area. Now also they want to do, the other crazy thing they want to do is make all the buildings green. So that means you got to demolition all the buildings in the entire United States in 10 years. Can you imagine how much that would cost? Who's going to pay for that? And then it keeps rolling. It keeps going. It just keeps getting worse and worse. If you don't want any combustion engines, well, okay. Or jet engines. Guess what? No more airplanes. No more traveling. No more global travel. No more business travel. No more delivering mail across, continents. That's all out. Then you've got ships. Big giant cruise ships that bring merchandise and trade back and forth from continent to continent. How are you going to make those electric to push that much weight? You could put giant nuclear engines, big giant nuclear power in them, but who can afford that? Shrinking that down is extremely expensive. And then it just keeps going. I don't think you're going to have cars. I mean, I know Tesla has them, but look how expensive they are. And I don't think they're going to get much cheaper anytime soon. And you'd have to make every single car. So those of you that have collections of cars, of old cars, they're gone. Can't have them. Sorry. They're out. Can't drive them. You can only wax them and look at them. What else? Farm equipment. Tens of thousands of farmers that have equipment. You're going to make all those big giant tractors electric and make them pay for. How are they going to pay for them? No, it's not going to happen. Sorry. And then it keeps going. I mean, what about chainsaws and what else is it? What else was I thinking? Lawnmowers. I was thinking about lawnmowers. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to mow my yard? So it's just insanity, and that's why I named this channel this particular name, because of their total stupidity. This idea would cost tens of trillions of dollars. Where are you going to get that money? That's just stupid. I have no better word for it. So that's what we're going to go through today. Just wanted to shoot that out to you guys to what they are up to right now. They've lost their minds. They all need to get their brains checked for power. I don't know. So that's good for today. I'll see you guys again soon.